SummerSlam took place tonight in East Rutherford, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium, the same venue that hosted last night's SummerSlam, which was night one. This was night two on Sunday, and this was part of the first ever two-night SummerSlam, which is now permanent. SummerSlam is now a two-night show, just like WrestleMania is. So before I get into the main card, I wanted to talk about the countdown to SummerSlam. If you watched my review yesterday, I watched a lot more of the countdown yesterday than I said I would today. I did watch some stuff. I caught some highlights as well. It was announced that the Women's Triple Threat would open the show. I thought immediately, well, that's a very smart move because it opened up WrestleMania 41 Night 2, and that was great. And it also opened up Evolution, another Women's Triple Threat, which was also a great match. So I was thinking, great, we're going to get another great Women's Triple Threat match. Awesome. It was going to work great a lot because that match was not great. It was still very good, though. But we'll get to that later. You had the same people on the panel, Michael Cole, Wade Barrett, and Big E. And you also had to mention, the main reason I like to watch the countdowns is there's two reasons, Jackie Redmond and Kathy Kelly. And tonight, I guess they inadvertently made a nice wine combination as Jackie was wearing a short white dress and Kathy wearing a nice red dress. So I do like the wine combination. The only reason to watch the countdown show. I like both of them. Don't really care much for the men, especially the non-wrestlers. No, I'm not talking about Michael Cole. The people they bring in from the outside, those guys are just annoying. Also, worth noting that it's been 100 days since WrestleMania Night 2 this year, and that's when John Cena defeated Cody Rhodes. So 100 days later was the rematch. Wade Barrett on the panel, I made note of this. I didn't see this live, but I saw this on X. I saw a clip of it. He was burying Travis Scott, and yesterday did it indirectly. Here they're just saying, fuck this guy, basically, and this was awesome. They must really hate each other now. It must have been really nasty what happened. I don't know, but hey, fuck him. They showed Michael Cole's sit-down interview he did earlier in the day with Becky Lynch that played on there, and there was a lot less activity compared to yesterday. Yesterday, it seemed like all the panel people were working hard. They also showed a lot of highlights from matches from night one on this show, on the countdown show. I noticed that. On one part when I was watching, they were showing Tiffany and Jade from last night, which wasn't that good anyways, but they did show that. News on X broke and that the Hardys were reportedly in attendance. I took notes for that, and it made sense because some people were thinking, are they going to pull like a WrestleMania 33 when they made that shock return? I thought there's already 6 teams. They can't have 7 teams. But we know what happened, why that they were in attendance. People got excited a bit too much. They're still signed with TNA. There was actually more people in attendance tonight than last night. That doesn't surprise me. It seems like always never WWE does these two-night shows. For WrestleMania or SummerSlam, night 2 is the bigger show. It's the Sunday show, and also it always has the bigger main event. So it did all draw on night 1. Not a surprise, to be honest. We saw the announcers and commentators making their entrances. As the countdown show wrapped up, they mostly previewed the main event as near the end of the countdown show when I was watching more. Cody Rhodes, John Cena. Big major rematch from WrestleMania taking place on SummerSlam. I'm not sure how many times we've had the same main event for WrestleMania and SummerSlam in the same year, but clearly it happened this year and they were hyping it up. So SummerSlam eventually started, the main card. They show Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Lyra, Valkyria, Becky Lynch, and Cody Rhodes all arriving at MetLife Stadium. They don't show John Cena. They do the opening video package. It basically featured just highlights from night 1 with the same rapper guy, whoever they had, doing the narration. Triple H was in the ring to start off the show. He gets a big pop. He says, "You ain't seen nothing yet." And immediately I knew, right, there's going to be a big surprise. You just know, right, there's a surprise coming. And then he asked the crowd, "Are you ready?" They say yes. Pyro goes off. That's how he starts it off. It's usually a quicker promo than he usually does to kick off these big shows, but he did have Triple H starting off the show. Rhea Ripley comes out to a huge pop. Then Iyo Sky comes out to a big pop as well. Naomi comes out to a live performance. Her father, who reportedly, I guess, I don't know much about him, he does play guitar. He's well known. The announcers made it seem like. And he was playing her theme song on guitar. It was a cool entrance for Naomi. It was a WrestleMania-style entrance at SummerSlam. And that was not the first WrestleMania type entrances we saw on the show, but that was a cool entrance for Naomi. And then we got the opener Women's World Championship triple threat match. Naomi defending the title. She won at Evolution when she cashed in on Iyo Sky and Rhea Ripley during their Women's World title match. She, of course, pinned Iyo Sky, and in this match, she defends her title against both of them. Former champion Iyo Sky and the champion Iyo Sky defeated, the woman who she defeated to win her belt was Rhea Ripley. So Naomi, Rhea Ripley, triple threat match. So you had Naomi getting the upper hand early on. It became one-on-one Iyo and Rhea, and that's just magic because their chemistry is probably the best in the WWE right now in terms of two wrestlers. Whether it's female or male, those two are just incredible together. Iyo hit a beautiful springboard moonsault onto the outside. They redid the WrestleMania finish where I think it was Bianca Belair hit the KOD to Rhea Ripley, and then Iyo did the moonsault onto Bianca Belair, over the moonsault on pinned her. Here they did it similar where Naomi hits a split-legged moonsault onto Rhea Ripley, and Iyo was still on the top rope, and that's when she does she's going to basically do the moonsault, over the moonsault onto Naomi and pin her, but instead Naomi gets out of the way and she hits Rhea, and they kind of redid the finish in a way, or at least nodded to it. Iyo broke up a Riptide cover after Naomi was hit with the Riptide by Rhea Ripley, but Iyo Sky broke it up. Iyo then hit an amazing springboard powerbomb. She goes over Rhea, and then she carries Rhea, and she powerbombs her on the outside, and she lands right on Naomi on the mats. That was probably one of the best parts of the whole match. It was a great visual. It looked great. Rhea hit the top rope Riptide to Iyo Sky. She stacks her up. Looks like that's over for Iyo. 1-2, but then Naomi comes in, rolls up Rhea Ripley, holds the tights for the win. Naomi actually pins Rhea here after she pinned Iyo at Evolution. Naomi retains the Women's World Championship. Very good match, but not on the level of the WrestleMania match or the Evolution match, which was Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria. That was better than this, too. And the WrestleMania match, Iyo Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, that was just excellent. One of the best women's matches in WrestleMania history. This was not at that level, and the reason is Naomi is not as good as Bianca Belair. Bianca is very strong. She's very athletic. Naomi is not a bad wrestler, but she's just not on that level. And Bianca added to that match. I mean, Rhea and Iyo already have such great chemistry. Bianca only added, and Naomi really didn't add here because Rhea and Iyo had a match on Evolution that blew this out of the water as well. They've had two great matches together, and this was a very good match. It just wasn't at that level. I think Naomi just doesn't have any charisma to me. I find her boring. I've always found her boring. Now she defends her Women's World Championship against Stephanie Vaquer, who we didn't see on this show. I thought she'd at least be in a crowd. Maybe not. The fans would all go crazy. But they showed Stephanie. It's now confirmed Stephanie will challenge Naomi at Clash in Paris for the Women's World Championship. They then promote SummerSlam 2026 next year in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That city, Minneapolis, really wanted WrestleMania. They badly wanted it, but at least they're getting a two-night SummerSlam. And, SummerSlam, the way they presented it this year, it is a big event. So it's not like they're not. They do want Mania, but, I mean, the cold weather is an issue. It's going to be in April. Getting SummerSlam, it's good. For Minnesota, they get it next year. They showed the crowd in New York and New Jersey. They show people in the crowd. They're showing Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers. The New York, New Jersey crowd boos the shit out of him. They show Nick Hogan. He gets cheered in the crowd. And they show Michelle McCool. She got cheered as well. Then they show the drumstick cone zone. That was just stupid. So, it's been 25 years since the first TLC match that took place. It was at SummerSlam. That was the first ever TLC match. I mean, we can kind of say that the first real TLC match, the first technical TLC match was the WrestleMania 2000 match, but the first official one was the one at SummerSlam in 2000 in North Carolina. It was the Hardy Boys against the Dudley Boys against Edge and Christian, who won the match as they retained their tag team titles. They introduced the Dudley Boys. During the crowd, they get a big pop. Bubba Ray does the Devon, get the tables. Fans loved it. Then they introduced the Hardy Boys. They get a huge pop as well. Everyone loves the Hardys. And after they both got the pops, they promoted the match that they're going to have at Bound for Glory in October. They got the Hardys against the Dudleys one last time. Obviously, we couldn't get the third team there. They're signed with a different company. Both Christian Cage and Cope. That's what he's going by now. Edge and Christian, they couldn't be here because they're signed in AEW. But once they're done there, they'll celebrate them again. Those guys, I just always thought of them as WWE guys, even more than both the Hardys and the Dudleys. But it's kind of odd that they're the one team that's not signed there, because I've always thought of Edge in particular, to me, is just so WWE, but he's not there. We get the WWE Tag Team Championships, the 6-pack challenge, TLC match, tables, ladders, and chairs match. You have the Wyatt 6, Dexter, Lumis, and Joe Gacy defending their titles against Andrade and Fénix, DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, Fraxiom, Axiom and Nathan Frazer, the Motor City Machine Guns, comprised of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, and the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, and they did have a B-Fab. She was representing them tonight as well, as was DIY, had their own Candice LeRae representing them, and we'll get to that later. And the Wyatt 6 had multiple people representing them, and they made their entrance. They were out last because they're champs. I like the tribute to Bray, but I just kind of wish it was at night. I thought this match would have been better at night. I like the tribute to Bray, but the Fireflies would have worked better at night. It looks weird when he's coming out during the day. It's kind of like when Undertaker was facing Bray Wyatt, and they both made their entrances at that WrestleMania 31, I believe, during the day. It looked kind of weird. It would have been better at night, but they are out last, and I like the tribute to Bray, and they heavily promoted the Halloween Horror Nights at Universal that they're going to be doing in October. So every October, Universal does Halloween Horror Nights. It's usually horror movie themes, but this year, because WWE has horror-themed characters in the Wyatts, they're going to be doing a Wyatt 6 Halloween Horror Nights. That sounds cool. It's in Los Angeles. I'm sure you'll have several wrestlers go into there and get scared to promote it. So, in this match, I can't tell you everything that happened because so much happened. I can't remember everything. It was the craziest TLC match. There's never been as many bumps. And there's more people here. There was 12 guys. It's usually 6 guys. But there's 12 guys here. And I've never seen that many bumps in a TLC match. There's so much shit that happened. I can't tell you everything. I know I'm missing stuff already. I've never seen as much bumps, as much chaos like that ever in a WWE match. It was insanity. It was madness. It was awesome. Yeah, it was overbooked. Yeah, it was a spot fest. But that's a TLC match. That's what you want. You can make an argument whether this was better than the TLC match we had on SmackDown this year with Street Profits against DIY against the Motor City Machine Guns. They had an excellent TLC match on the SmackDown following WrestleMania. And Wade Barrett talked about how those guys were all furious that they were left off WrestleMania and they all had the chip on their shoulder on that SmackDown. I'm not sure which one was better. This one had more carnage, but that one was a lot longer and it was a main event. And that was on a 3-hour SmackDown. They would never get that time on 2 hours. So, comparing them is difficult. Also, watching this, I thought this might have been the best TLC match ever. I don't know. The 2000 match was crazy. I watched that for its time. But, they did a lot more stuff here than they did there. The Matt Hardy bump is still the scariest bump I've ever seen in a TLC match where he went backwards. The WrestleMania 17, of course, everyone knows Edge spearing Jeff Hardy, and they made reference of that here. It's difficult. You can make an argument if this was better than that, if this was better than the SummerSlam 2000, the WrestleMania 17, or the SmackDown match from this year, or even the SmackDown match. That was really good. That was the third TLC match in 01. There's been a lot of great ones. This is right up there. I don't know how you rank it, but they here's some of the stuff I remember. There was chairs were used early on. That was the first weapons they used. Always the chairs start off. There was ladders as well. We saw ladder being set up. Then they set up 4 stacked tables. And I thought, holy shit, they never do that spot anymore. When they have 2 tables set up on the outside, and then they have put 2 on top of them, so it's a 4 stacked tables. And then someone gets thrown off the ladder and smashes through those tables. They don't do those spots anymore. They actually did that. I thought, holy shit, they mean business here. As I said, you saw some chairs used early on. I think a couple chairs are broken. You had 4 straight table spots. I'm going to try to remember everything. I think Ciampa DDT'd someone through a table. Then you saw a leg drop through a table. Then I think you saw, was it a swanton or a senton through a table, or maybe an elbow drop? I forget exactly. And then you saw the most insane spot early on, which you had a Spanish fly. One of Fraxiom hit a Spanish fly from the top rope on the outside through 2 tables. That was fucking insanity. That was probably one of the best spots on the whole match. It was fucking crazy. A Spanish fly to the outside through 2 tables. Holy shit moment there. It was just insanity. So you have the ladder being set up on the outside where it's set up on the apron and the announce table horizontally like they always do. And you have Candice interfering, and B-Fab was there as well. B-Fab went after Candice to stop her from interfering, and he had Nikki Cross interfere as well. But Candice is on the top. She's trying, DIY is guarding the ring for her. And then I think goes Montez Ford, hits Johnny Gargano, and Gargano actually knocks the ladder over with his wife. And Candice goes, it's hard to explain. I think she almost went crotch first through the ladder, and it looked so painful. She sold it like she died. It was a nasty bump. Candice LeRae goes flying off a ladder. She falls off a ladder from the ring, goes smashing through a ladder on the outside that was set up horizontally with the announce table and the apron. Insane spot. She went right through it. She broke it. Crazy fucking spot there. You had the scariest part of the whole thing is Tommaso Ciampa is doing the thing where he's hanging from the belts, and there's a spear set up, and I forget exactly who it was. There's going to be a spear where he gets speared from the ladder, like Edge spearing Jeff Hardy, but he avoids it, and he catapults his body on top of the hanger, and it looks so fucking scary. So I'm thinking, if he slips, he's dead. He's going neck first, he's dead. It was such an insane visual, and the guy missed the spear, and it looked incredible. I mean, they did the spear spot. They redid the Edge spearing Jeff Hardy earlier on SmackDown this year, so I don't know if they want to do another spear spot, but Ciampa avoiding it looked fucking amazing. You had Gargano doing a classic NXT style with, I think it was Nathan Frazer. I forget everyone who it was, but it was so cool. And then you have 2 ladders set up, and after Ciampa and Gargano are they're set up off the ladders, they're set up on another ladder, and I think on the other side it's 2 other guys from the team, but they get dropped. They get Uncle Howdy comes in, he knocks off 2 of the guys from the ladder, and then he knocks off the ladder that Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are on, and they were far from the belt anyway, and they got pushed over the ropes from the top of a ladder. They're on a ladder trying to grab the titles. They get pushed off the ladder. They go out of the ring, and they smash through 4 tables. One of the tables in the break went through 3 technically, but they redid that spot that they never do, and it was fucking insanity. It's such a dangerous spot. They redid the spot. Holy fucking shit moment, man. That was fucking amazing. Wyatt 6 eventually, I just don't remember everything. There was another ladder that was broken. I think they said that there was 2 late ladders that got smashed. I only remember 1, to be honest, but there might have been 2. So much shit happened. I forget everything. But the Wyatt 6 eventually, Uncle Howdy interfered. Eric Rowan interfered. He got speared through a table by the Street Profits during this. I forgot to mention that. Nikki Cross interfered. I don't think she took a huge bump. I was expecting her to take the bigger bump than Candice, to be honest. But all the Wyatt 6 interfered, and they're basically heels. Eventually, they hit their finisher, and one of them, I think it was Lumis who grabbed the belts while Gacy was guarding, and Wyatt 6 retained the tag team titles. The ones on SmackDown, I think they're the WWE tag team titles. They retained their titles. Incredible match. Wyatt 6 retained. Just an insane TLC match. It was incredible. I can't tell you enough how awesome it was. It was probably one of my favorite matches of the year. Just a fucking insanity. Car crash. Holy shit match. Insane. Wyatt 6 retained. They're definitely heels, and the SmackDown tag division is fucking amazing. The Raw tag division. Okay, let's hear something funny. The Raw tag division got the spot at WrestleMania. SmackDown tag division didn't, and they had an awesome TLC match this year on SummerSlam. Apropos, it's very much a result of justice. The SmackDown tag division has an all-time TLC classic, while the Raw tag division is busy eating pizza together in some Papa John skit with Nikki Bella delivering them pizza. So, yeah, I think we know which one's better. We know which division's better. They promoted the movie Weapons, that horror movie. I think I want to see that. Off topic, but they did promote it. I'm thinking, how the hell do you follow that? Lyra Valkyria, after they played their video package with Becky Lynch, that match is next. Lyra Valkyria comes out first. Fans like her entrance. Then Becky comes out to new theme music. She and I liked it a lot, so much better than Death Rebel. It's a good heavy metal theme song. That's how it seemed like. And she re-enters the stadium that she won her first. She re-enters the stadium in which she won the first ever women's main event when she defeated Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey in a triple threat women's take-all match to become both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. She pinned Ronda Rousey in that match. So she main evented WrestleMania in this stadium, the first ever women's main event. So she re-enters that. She was wearing this long white fur scarf, and it's kind of like she's playing her husband's gimmick in a way. I don't know, but we got Women's Intercontinental Championship, no disqualification, no count-out, last chance match for Lyra Valkyria. Becky Lynch defends her Intercontinental Championship, Women's Intercontinental Championship, against Lyra Valkyria. Okay, I have a lot to say here. Not a lot of it to be good, I'm not going to lie. Wow, this was weird. This is a weird match. I don't know what to say here. So you had a kendo stick early, a crowbar, chain was used by Becky. Becky's killing Lyra. She's whipping her with the kendo stick, beating her. Becky beat her down with a chair, and then she hit Lyra with a toolbox. She hit her with a wrench. I'm thinking she's trying to kill Lyra Valkyria. She's using a wrench. She should be dead. And they just overproduced the hell out of this match. They overdid everything. If you were to cut like 10 minutes out of this out and cut some of the more egregious stuff and some of the run-ins, it's actually would have been a really good match. Even if the fans were being a bunch of dicks here, and the fans were assholes, so fuck the fans for this match. But we saw a lot of weapons. Becky hit Lyra with a toolbox. She tied her up with not handcuffs, but like Ziplocs or something. And she beat her with the wrench. Fans are behind Lyra here. They did the Orange Cena kendo stick where she has her above the post while she's cuffed. And then she's on the outside from the ring post, and she whips her with the kendo stick. And also worth noting, they changed the ring posts. Last night we had the big LED ring posts that we usually get here. We got like regular ring posts that were just black. That was because of the pointless steel cage match, which we'll get to later, but that's why. So we had the regular ring posts here. Lyra frees herself eventually. She uses a fire extinguisher. I like that spot, but she can't break it. And the fans just keep getting out of this match. There's like waves. I heard reports on X that there was waves in the match. The fans were trying to do the Mexican wave. There was also a fight. I saw two ladies fighting in the crowd, and that might have been more entertaining to some of them because they were cheering and booing and going crazy. So there was parts of the stadium crowd that were just out of this fucking match, and there was a lot of problems here. I felt bad for Becky and Lyra, but I also didn't feel bad because how overproduced this fucking match was. Lyra eventually, after she frees herself, she gets a whole bunch of offense, shits Nightwing off the steps. Becky then eventually gets Lyra's head in between a chair, and she's ready to kill her with a crowbar. It's just so over the top. Bayley grabs a crowbar to stop Becky from killing Lyra, and Becky's trying to talk Bayley into killing Lyra herself with the fucking crowbar. Bayley and Becky brawl, but Bayley gets thrown into the crowd. Lyra hits a leg drop onto Becky through a table, which is a good spot. There was so much good in this match. It just was so overproduced. They kept going so over the top with Becky trying to kill Lyra and Bayley, being conflicted, and just it's so much exposition, and it was just overdone here. Like if you cut 10 minutes out, even with the Bayley run-in, it would have been so much better. Like cut some of the more egregious murder attempts in this fucking match. It could have been so much better. And it kind of annoyed me. So in the ring, Becky and Bayley are kicking out of their finishers. Bayley's on the apron, and she accidentally hits Lyra in the face with the chain. Bayley wrapped a chain around her fist. She accidentally hit Lyra, and then Becky hit the manhandle slam, I think the third one of the match. Becky Lynch pins Lyra Valkyria, and she retains her Women's Intercontinental title. Lyra can't challenge for the belt anymore. Lyra, I guess, feuds with Bayley. I don't know what Becky does. I don't know if Becky and Bayley are going to form an alliance, kind of like Alexa and Charlotte have. I actually wouldn't mind that in a way. I don't know. Maybe they can do that. I don't know what they're going to do, but and they might do that because War Games is coming up in a few months. Well, 4.5 months. It's a long time, actually, but well, it's a while, actually, so I don't know what they're going to do, but this should have been a lot better. Just a lot of problems here. Not all their fault. The crowd was assholes. They weren't into the match. They were trying to do a fucking wave, some of them. people like being dicks, people fighting in the crowd. So the crowd sucked. That was true, but match was too overproduced and too long. Did not need to be 25 minutes. I know it's a blow-off match. Could have cut 10 minutes out of there. The first 2 matches they had were both way better than this. They promoted the Smashing Machine, the Rock's movie. He's doing the MMA movie. They promoted that. They showed Jelly Roll in the crowd. They show Russell Wilson in the crowd. He's the new quarterback for the Giants, and they booed Russell Wilson, which was funny. That actually made me laugh. New York fans don't like him. I guess maybe there's more Jets fans. I don't know. But, yeah, they don't like him. U.S. Championship Steel Cage match. Oh, this match sucked. Sikoa defending his title against Jacob Fatu. So, Solo was up first. No one cared. Jacob got a big pop when he came out. He had fuck you Solo chance to start. Solo got the heat early on Jacob, and he's just such a shit wrestler. Solo's the worst wrestler in the company right now in terms of being pushed and being featured on, PLEs and television weekly. Solo's amongst the worst. He's shit. He's a shit wrestler. Jay, his brother, who I don't like, is so much better than him, and Jay sucks too. That tells you how bad Solo is. Jacob rallies. He throws Solo into the sides of the cage, and this wasn't too bad at first. And then he hit 2 moonsaults, but Solo kicks out. And right when they went to they're hitting their finishers, I thought, all right, this is not going to be very long. The MFT comes out. Jimmy Uso makes his entrance, tries to fight them off, that they kill him. It's JC Mateo, Tala Tonga, and Tonga Loa, so it's 3-on-1. And they're trying to get in the ring, and Jacob has to fight them off. Eventually, Tala Tonga handcuffs Jacob Fatu to the top. But Jacob just breaks it too soon. He stops Sikoa from leaving the cage door. Eventually, Tala Tonga, I think after Jacob swung the cage door into JC Mateo's face, but Tala Tonga kicks the cage door into Jacob's face. Solo gets out of the cage door. He escapes through the door just like Drew McIntyre did on that Damian Priest did against Drew McIntyre on that Saturday Night's Main Event that Jesse Ventura shit all over. He had the same thing here. He had someone escape through the fucking door to win. That sucks. The door? Come on. At least it's a heel this time, I have to say. After the match, Solo ordered JC and Tonga to go after Jacob. He didn't order Tala. That's weird. But he ordered JC and Tonga Loa. But Jimmy Uso got to his feet. He super kicked JC Mateo, throws him in the cage. Jacob then goes to the top, and he hits a moonsault from the top of the cage onto JC Mateo and Tonga Loa. And they did it in a way where it's kind of like that Charlotte Flair moonsault where they catch her. Here they just caught Jacob as he moonsaulted from the top of the cage. Nothing like Kurt Angle's moonsault from the top of the cage, which was way more, that was obviously way better than this. He actually missed. That was way more memorable than that. But that's what they did. So people wanted to see Jacob do the moonsault from the top. He did. The match was still a piece of shit, and Sikoa was fucking awful. They promote Triple Mania, Triple A's big show. They didn't do the same thing for TNA for Bound for Glory, but actually that's not till October. This is, I think, in a few weeks, so that actually makes sense. You have said that. We saw Iguana, Mr. Iguana, and Seiko Clown in the crowd. Go to the IC Championship, which was up next. Dominik against AJ Styles. Dom got a good pop when he came out, and AJ got a special entrance. He got a lowrider Eddie Guerrero entrance. I mean, AJ Styles is not he's not a luchador, so it's kind of weird seeing him and AJ in Eddie Guerrero entrance. But he had the lowrider, and he had the son in the passenger seat, and he did the lowrider entrance, which was really cool. And he has ring gear that are exactly he had pants. Tights exactly like Eddie Guerrero's classic Latino Heat tights, which was actually really good. And it was a tribute because Eddie Guerrero faced Rey Mysterio 20 years ago at SummerSlam in 2005. That match was in Washington, D.C. for custody of Dominik Mysterio. Remember that ladder match, which was custody of Dom, and there was that infamous segment where Eddie challenges Rey to a match. Whoever wins gets custody of Dom, and they have like child protection services just so offended by it. You're going to have a match to determine the custody of a child. It was so ridiculous. It's such a classic segment. Eddie is so funny, man. He's so great. But AJ Styles was paying tribute to Eddie Guerrero because it was 20 years ago that they had that match with Rey, which was custody over Dom. So it's also to troll Dom. And 20 years ago, Eddie Guerrero passed away. That's it's hard to believe, man. 20 years. But AJ did get the special entrance. He's the Eddie tribute was good. And then the fans were doing fireflies during the match, which was annoying. They weren't into this. They were doing the fireflies because this was when the dusk was up, the sun went down. It was night out, dusk out more so. Doing the Fireflies, Dominik Mysterio was mocking Eddie Guerrero as he did the Three Amigos on AJ Styles. He eventually got out of it. They did the Eddie chair spot with Dom, and AJ both sold it really well, which was funny. I like that tribute to Eddie. There was loud Eddie chants in the match, and that was good. Dom, near the end, he uses Eddie Guerrero's finish at WrestleMania 24 against Kurt Angle, in which he unties his boot as he's in the calf crusher. He gets out of it, and then Dom hits, AJ bumps into the ref. Dom then takes his boot, hits AJ in the head with the boot, hits a frog splash, pins AJ Styles to retain the Intercontinental title in a very mid-Raw match. If this was a Raw match, I would have mind. I thought it would have been pretty decent as a Raw match, as a SummerSlam co-main event. Officially, nothing to it. May match. And right here, the show was going off a cliff, man. I'm not going to lie. It was going downhill. You had that great TLC match, and Becky and Lyra was just overbooked to shit with the stupid crowd being assholes in the match. Then you have that awful cage match, Sikoa sucks, and that just, a Raw Intercontinental title match with Dom and AJ. And then I'm thinking, man, this is going downhill. Triple H, this kind of happened on night one where it went downhill a bit. And I'm thinking, oh, this is not good. I have no expectations before this going into Cody Rhodes and John Cena based off the WrestleMania match. So I'll get to that later. But you had Stephanie McMahon in the ring. She announces the attendance. It's over 60,000 people tonight. And just to be honest, can we just say Stephanie McMahon is still a MILF. I mean, I guess now she'd be a cougar technically, if that's the right term. But yeah, she looked great. And she says this is the biggest SummerSlam in history. Pyro goes off. Then we have the graphic main event. John Cena defending the WWE Championship, undisputed WWE Championship in a street fight against Cody Rhodes, the same man he defeated at WrestleMania 41 this year. We got the video package, which was excellent. It's an amazing video package. We hear Dusty Rhodes' voice when we come back to the stadium, and he's reciting a classic promo. The words are displayed on the 4 screens. Cody then rises up from under the stage with the American Nightmare mask, the helmet, same one similar to he wore at WrestleMania, both 41 and 40. Similar thing where he comes up from under the stage. And his music plays. He gets a big pop, a big babyface pop. Cody Rhodes makes an entrance, and it's a WrestleMania-style entrance at SummerSlam. John Cena also gets a massive pop when he makes his entrance. It starts off with the black and white John Cena heel entrance, and it's all black and white, and then it transitions to his classic Titantron, the colorful John Cena, which was great. And he is making his classic entrance. He mentions the cameraman. He runs to the side of both stages, and he acknowledges the crowd. He does the classic salute, holds up the "Last Time Is Now" towel, runs to the ring, sprints to the ring, makes his classic John Cena entrance, puts up the classic when he comes out where he puts up the OK sign, whatever it is. He does this classic entrance, awesome entrance. Yeah, he's John Cena here. He's the WWE champion. The champ is here. He's mega over. Cody got booed during the introductions. Cena was a massive babyface. John Cena gets all cheers. He puts his arm around Alicia Taylor as she does the ring intro, which was funny. And then we get the main event, Undisputed WWE Championship Street Fight. John Cena defends his title against Cody Rhodes. And a lot happened here, and a lot happened after the match, as you probably know. This was infinitely better than the WrestleMania match this year. It was better in every single way. John Cena used the steps early on when he threw them at Cody Rhodes. And he sells it like they're like 500 pounds. He gets them over his head, throws them out of the ring, and it barely hits Cody, and that was a good spot. He did the same thing to Bray Wyatt a while ago, like 10, 11 years ago. It was similar to that. That's what it reminded me of. He had chairs, I believe, introduced early as well. Cody kicked out of an AA early. John Cena took a pile driver from Cody Rhodes, and he sells it like he's dead. Cody Rhodes thinks John Cena's dead, and he's playing possum. He gets up, and Cena hits an AA onto Cody, but I think Cody kicks out. And, they're on the outside for a bit. John Cena hits an amazing sunset flip on the outside, and he puts Cody up, takes all the stuff off the announce booth, and the AA's Cody Rhodes through the announce booth. That looked awesome because he was on the top of it, and he was on the edge, and he jumped with Cody. He just slammed him right through the table. Awesome spot. He throws him in the ring, I believe, but Cody kicks out. And I believe Cena hit another AA or something. Cody might have kicked out. Cena took a crossroads, I believe, and kicked out, if I'm not mistaken, early on here. I can't remember the exact sequence. I didn't take notes. I was so into this match. I was so impressed with John Cena. I just thought to myself, oh my God, John Cena is so much more comfortable as a babyface than a heel. He's so much better as a babyface than a heel. He works so much better. I think the big problem was the WrestleMania match. He didn't really know how to work as a heel because he worked as a face for 20 freaking years. So I think that was a big issue here. Is he really is just so much better as a babyface. He's just a babyface. That's who John Cena is. Yeah, basic thugonomics. John Cena was a good, arrogant heel. He's a babyface. He can't play a heel. The heel run's a disaster. It sucked, and I'm glad it's over now. They continued. There's a lot that happened here, as I said, but that's what struck me right here. And Cody was fine here. He wasn't rattled at all by the boos. He kind of went along with it. I think he kind of had the attitude of The Rock when he was facing Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. R.I.P. brother. And I think he had a similar attitude. Yeah, let's go with it. Why not? And he did a lot better here than WrestleMania. But they eventually brawl into the crowd. Cena and him fight. There was a suplex where Cody suplexes Cena on the barricade and it bends a bit. They fight underneath the stage, which we never see. I thought we were going to see him fight in the stage, and they were going to go into Gorilla, where the stage, I think the Gorilla's under the stage at PLEs or stadium shows. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But eventually, they come up through Cody Rhodes' entrance, where he makes his entrance through under the stage and on that platform. And we see John Cena holding Cody Rhodes in an AA. A smoke comes out. That was an amazing visual. John Cena then hits an AA onto Cody Rhodes onto the stage, which looked extremely painful. It looked painful. He then carries Cody Rhodes to the ring, and he eventually gets him in the ring. And as soon as he does that, though, Cody gets up and he throws John Cena through a table that was set up in the corner. Then he hits Crossroads, but Cena kicks out. That would have been a cool finish here. And Cody hit Cena with a chair. He took apart the ring turnbuckle. He hit Cena in the head with the turnbuckle. I thought right there Cena should have bled. That's a thing I was annoyed with. He should have made it look like he hit him with the steel instead of the turnbuckle, and John should have been bleeding there. It would have looked better if Cena was bleeding. I think Cody should have been bleeding as well in this match. I think this match needed some juice. I thought it would have made it even better, but I thought that was another thing. I thought, excuse me, Cena needed to bleed there. Eventually, as he's attacking him, Cena reverses it, and he gets an STF with the ropes, and he's actually choking Cody Rhodes. You're not allowed to choke in WWE anymore, but he's choking Cody Rhodes with the rope that was exposed when Cody took it apart, and it was similar to how he choked out Umaga at a Royal Rumble when he won a Last Man Standing match. Cody eventually gets out. Then there's so much that happened here. I almost forget all the sequences, but Cena eventually hits an AA, hits a second AA, and it's a super AA from the top, but Cody Rhodes kicks out. Then later, Cody Rhodes hits a Crossroads. He holds it, hits a second Crossroads, hits a third Crossroads. Exactly the same spot in which how he defeated Roman Reigns at last year's WrestleMania to win the championship to finish the story the first time. But Cena kicks out of the 3 Crossroads. It's basically Super Cena versus Super Cody here. They're kicking out of everything. In some ways, it reminded me of that match at WrestleMania 29 in the same stadium, by the way, when John Cena defeated The Rock to win the championship, in which they just kept kicking out of each other's finishers. But here they had a great match before that, so then they did all the kickouts. But I've never seen more kickouts before. They kicked out of everything. Cody Rhodes must have kicked out of like 7 AAs. Cena must have kicked out of like 4 or 5 Crossroadses. But after that, you had a million kickouts. John Cena is about to put Cody Rhodes through a table. He set up a table. He has him on the top rope, but Cody does a Cody cutter off the top rope through a table. And I'm not sure exactly. I don't even know how the match ended. I forget. There's so much that happened here, but eventually John Cena can't get to his feet. Cody Rhodes looks at him. It's almost like he's sad. It's kind of like that Shawn and Rook from WrestleMania 24 when Shawn Michaels told Ric Flair, "I'm sorry, I love you." Or Undertaker and Shawn at WrestleMania 26, something similar to that. Cody looks at a fallen John Cena. He can barely get to his feet. Cody Rhodes salutes John Cena. He hits another Crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes defeats John Cena. He finishes the story again as he regains the undisputed WWE Championship, the same belt he lost to John Cena at WrestleMania 41 this year. 100 days later, he defeats John Cena in the rematch, which was a street fight, in a match that was infinitely better than the WrestleMania shit match. This was a classic match, an all-time match. I liked it even better than Punk and Gunther from night one in that main event. That was a great main event. Much different match. I thought this was even better. One of the best SummerSlam main events of all time. I don't know how it ranks, but an incredible match. John Cena's best match, I thought. I would almost say maybe since that CM Punk Money in the Bank match at 2011. That's how good this was. All-time match. Incredible match. They embrace after the match. John Cena awards the belt to Cody Rhodes. He raises Cody's hand. Michael Cole's talking about how it's the same thing when The Rock endorsed John Cena after WrestleMania 29. Of course, The Rock defeated John Cena at WrestleMania 28. Then a year later, John Cena defeats The Rock, gets his redemption, wins the title from The Rock. The Rock endorses him, raises his hand, and they both embrace. Similar thing here. John Cena defeated Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41. That's the equivalent of WrestleMania 28. And then in the same building where WrestleMania 29 takes place this year at SummerSlam 2025, Cody Rhodes defeats John Cena to win the WWE Championship from John Cena. Cody Rhodes celebrates. Then he raises John Cena's hand. He then leaves the ring for John Cena so the fans can embrace John Cena at SummerSlam. They love John Cena. Thank you, Cena chants. All clapping for him. Cena looks like he's almost emotional. It's a great moment. Cody's cleared the ring. All Cena in the ring. Looks like we're about to be the end of SummerSlam. It's the end of SummerSlam. Cena has only 4 months left. This was really his last major event. I mean, I guess you can count Survivor Series. That's coming up if he's wrestling that. But like a major SummerSlam WrestleMania 2-night event, this was kind of like the last one, it felt like. And they're embracing John Cena. That's how SummerSlam ended, right? What a moment. That was the end. That's how SummerSlam ended. Oh, wait. No, that's not what happened. Brock Lesnar's music hits. We hear the guitar riff. Didn't think I'd hear that again. He's back. Holy shit. Brock Lesnar appears. Fans are going crazy. An insane fucking pop. A pop similar to the one he got when he returned in 2012 after 8 years being gone from the company on Raw. Night after WrestleMania 28 when John Cena lost to The Rock the first time. And the first match they had. Brock Lesnar made his return the next night on Raw. Insane moment. He F5s John Cena. Leaves him laying. What a moment that was. I remember at SummerSlam 4 years ago in 2021, Brock was gone from the company since the WrestleMania the year before. He makes a shock return after John Cena lost to Roman Reigns 4 years ago. F5 John Cena, leaves him laying. He F5'd him after the show. That's when we saw it. But similar to that, now 4 years after that, 2025, Brock Lesnar's been, I can't talk. Brock Lesnar has been gone from WWE for 2 years. He lost to Cody Rhodes 2 years ago at SummerSlam in the early in the show. I think it was the second match. I was there, by the way. I was convinced I saw Brock Lesnar's last match. I saw Brock Lesnar put his gloves down. He laid down his gloves in the ring, kind of like how The Undertaker did. Then he went and embraced Cody Rhodes, raised his hand. It looks like that was it for Brock Lesnar, it seemed like, in a way. It looked like he was retiring. And then the stuff, we all know what happened, the controversy with Vince McMahon that involved Brock in the lawsuit. He's been gone from the company for 2 years. She was supposed to return, I think, at last year's Royal Rumble. Didn't happen. But Brock's back, and he F5s John Cena when he gets in the ring. He eventually makes his way in there, took his cowboy hat off, his jacket off, F5 John Cena. I mean, he always kills John Cena when he makes his return. 4 years ago, he F5'd him when he made his return, and he also killed John Cena 11 years ago in 2014 at that SummerSlam when he just massacred him for the whole match. So I guess SummerSlam tradition is Brock Lesnar destroying John Cena. He gives him an F5, leaves him laying. That's going to be John Cena's match eventually. He will face Brock Lesnar. Brock is back in the WWE. A lot of controversy on Twitter. People are mad due to him being named in the lawsuit. It's a big story, big major story how this show ended. Brock Lesnar is officially back in the WWE.